Hello everybody and welcome to another Oscar prediction video where today I will be taking a look at the category of Best Makeup and Hairstyling. So before we get started, I just want to acknowledge the fact that yes, I missed tomorrow. I was actually sick, not with COVID, it was a stomach thing, but I was feeling really miserable and was just in bed all day, so I was not in the mood to record. And so it's going to be interesting trying to find a way to catch up. I think there's a very real chance where I do my best picture prediction the day of the Oscars. Hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully I'll still do it the day before. But I've got a lot to talk about, and let's just try and pace myself and get back to it at a good pace. And so today we're talking about the category of Best Makeup and Hairstyling. And we've got a pretty interesting category on our hands today because while I'm fairly confident I know what the number one is, I'm not exactly sure how to rank 2 through 5. I think they all make a noble argument for themselves. And so we've got some interesting films to talk about, some very deserving work, and let's not waste any more time. Let's get started with fifth most likely to win is Cruella. So this is an interesting nomination. When I first saw the movie, I didn't really think it was going to contend for makeup. I remember being a little bit confused when people started talking about it as a makeup contender, and I was like, oh, it's just the black and white hair, that's it. But people reminded me Joker got on for just the clown makeup. And to be fair to Cruella, there is a little bit more to than that. There are some clever makeup designs done on the characters, and in particular, the various wigs worn by Emma Thompson during the movie. Okay, I can kind of understand this nomination. Now, the reason why it might win, like I said earlier, 2 through 5 are kind of interchangeable. This did win an award at the Makeup and Hairstyling Guild Awards. It won a contemporary makeup, I think. No, fantasy. It won something pretty big at that award, and apparently it's very, very rare for a movie to win a makeup Oscar without a single win at that award show. And this movie was one of 2 nominees at the Oscars that won an award at that festival. So a lot of people are pointing to this as a potential contender, and I'm telling you, I just don't see it. For one thing, the movie is already pretty clearly the frontrunner in Best Costume Design, and I really don't see it winning both. Like, this movie came out in April, and people like it fine, but it's not anywhere remotely near the Best Picture conversation, so it would be kind of weird for it to win 2 Oscars of its 2 nominations. With that being said, I get the nomination. I think it's some solid work done. I just think of the 5 nominees, this one is the least likely to win. Fourth most likely to win is Dune. Okay, so I'm going out on a bit of a stretch here. A lot of people were predicting Dune to win simply because it's a Best Picture nominee. It's the only film here that is a Best Picture nominee, and it's likely going to take home a lot of the tech awards. However, I don't think the makeup in the movie is anything really that special. I mean, I used the picture of Dave Bautista because I couldn't find a great photo of Stellan Skarsgård, who's probably the true best makeup in the movie. But outside of that, there's nothing terribly fancy that Timothée Chalamet or Zendaya or Rebecca Ferguson have on. There's nothing that really calls attention to itself. It's not like there's any crazy world-building alien sci-fi, except maybe Stellan Skarsgård. And I'm not going to say the work on the movie is bad, because like every other technical element, it helps to bring the story to life, but I don't really see anything that says, oh yeah, this needs to win Best Makeup. And I get that the reason why people are predicting it is because the movie is so beloved everywhere else except director, weirdly enough, and it got so much love and attention, and people are saying it could sweep the techs. And the thing is, I can see this movie potentially winning every single below-the-line category except makeup. and that would give it 5 wins. I could see it winning editing, cinematography, production design, visual effects, and score, sound. Actually, that's 6. Wait, I think there's 7. This is one I'm missing. Costume design. Okay, so I'm sorry again. I've been feeling sick, so my brain's a little bit woozy. So I'm not going to go too far into that, but I don't think Dune is likely to win the Oscar. I think the work is just too subtle and there's not enough of it, and even though it's a big Best Picture contender, not to win, I just don't see the argument for it in this category. It got the nomination because people like the movie, but if you look at it compared to what's nominated, there's some much showier work on display. Starting with, third most likely to win is Coming to America. So, Coming to America, this movie is obviously the sequel to Coming to America, and they're both pronounced the same way, but in Coming to America, it's a 2 instead of a 2. It's weird. The number 2. And this movie came out at the very, very beginning of this year's award eligibility period. It came out in March, and I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about it. It didn't get the greatest reviews either, but the makeup work on the film was very impressive, and when it made the shortlist, a lot of people assumed it would get the nomination, and it did. And at this time, I have not yet seen the movie, but I do have a screener, so maybe I'll check it out. I don't think it's going to be that good. But what made people take this seriously as a contender was that it won a lot of Makeup and Hairstyling Guild Awards, which suddenly made people say, whoa, is this the new frontrunner to win the Oscar? And I do get it, because the special effects work on it. They bring back all the characters from the first one that Eddie Murphy plays under the heavy prosthetics. And I think there's certainly some good work here that's well done. The reason why I don't think it's going to win is because a lot of the designs that people are really clamoring on are the same makeup transformations that was in the first film. I don't know if they go that far. Having not seen the movie, I don't know if they go that far beyond what was in the first film. And the first film was nominated for makeup, but it lost to Beetlejuice, which is a pretty reasonable win. But I don't really see enough people clamoring to give this movie a release. Again, it came out so long ago, at the very beginning of March. A full year has passed. I think a lot of people have already forgotten this film, even if they did see it back then. And yes, it is flashy work, but I'd argue that the top 2 is flashier. And the wins for Makeup and Hairstyling Guild are important, and yet I don't see it happening. Now, one that I could see happening is second most likely to win, House of Gucci. So this is the sole nomination for House of Gucci. This one nomination is what prevents it from being an episode of This Had Oscar Buzz, because the movie was really touted early on as a giant Academy Awards contender, and Lady Gaga almost got in, as did Jared Leto, but ultimately it just got the one nomination for makeup. And personally, I'm very satisfied with that, because it did not need to be nominated for anything else. I was not a fan of this movie, but even I can admit the makeup is pretty impressive. Obviously the work done on Leto is very well done. It transforms him, and it fooled a lot of people into thinking that Leto was giving a good performance. And I do also like the aging work on Lady Gaga, having her start out looking very young and then aging gradually over the course of the film. I think there's some very good work done on this film, and I get the nomination, and I even get why some people are predicting it to win. But I think the fact that it underperformed at nominations, the fact that Gaga and Leto did not get on, that tells me that the Academy did not like this movie as much as everybody thought they would. And I just don't really see them going for this, even though the Leto transformation and the Gaga transformation, they're all impressive. I just think people don't really like this movie. And I would definitely get the makeup win in a different year, because I think the work is there and the film is high profile enough that it makes sense. However, I can't fully go for it. And maybe if the film had a Best Picture nomination, I'd change my mind on that. But as is, this is the one nomination for this movie. It's not anywhere else. I mean, if Leto was here, then we could have made an argument. but that's not the case. I am relatively confident that I do know what film is winning Best Makeup. Number one most likely to win is The Eyes of Tammy Faye. So I saw this movie back in September, and when it was over, I thought to myself, I'm pretty sure this is winning Best Makeup, because it was pretty obvious going in. The makeup is in many ways the star of the movie, almost more than Chastain is, and the film is largely a vehicle for her and the makeup. And it's really impressive to me because obviously we're transforming her into Tammy Faye Baker, but we're also aging her over the course of her life, where at the beginning, where she looks young, she still is recognizably Jessica Chastain, and by the end of the film, if you showed me the final scene with no context, I would never guess that that was Jessica Chastain. And a lot of that is due to her performance and her commitment to the role, and it can't be easy to act underneath all that makeup, but the makeup is very, very impressive, and I've heard some people complain about the cheekbones being too big, but it wasn't really an issue for me, and I liked the way they blended the makeup of the lipstick and the eyeshadow and all the things that Tammy Faye is wearing in universe, and also the prosthetics, and how it all became more warped over time, and it's actually a story point. It's actually referenced in the narrative that she keeps wearing more and more makeup as a coping mechanism. So the same way that I think Cruella is going to win costume design because the movie is about the costume design, here I think the movie is really about the makeup. They really do call attention to the makeup on her, and to a lesser extent on Andrew Garfield. You do see the two of them age over the course of the movie, and it does feel realistic. We basically see this whole long lifespan of these characters, and it's legitimately very impressive work. And so, also, I didn't mention this, but it won Critics' Choice, and it won BAFTA. So that's basically all I need to know. People really do like the makeup for obvious reason. Even though Coming to America was the one that won all those awards, I don't think that that's going to be a real factor because I don't think anybody really cares about that movie. And you can try to make the argument for Eyes of Tammy Faye, but it got the nomination for Jessica Chastain. The movie is being talked about. And recently we did see Chastain herself get upset by the fact that makeup and hairstyling is not going to be announced live and say that she is going to be there supporting her team. So that's a lot of praise. And a lot of people are saying that Chastain herself is in the front-runner position for actress, and I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to fall on that race, but she's definitely top two, and that makes me think that there's a lot of support for her and the makeup. And if you see the movie, the makeup is kind of undeniable, in my opinion. I don't really know how you can vote against it. So, that is my prediction. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in tomorrow where I will be talking about the category of Best Original Score. See you then.